with grace. I found my rhythm, I found my pace. I'm resetting my resolution. We're training for life, I found my fusion. You're the heart chest on the soul. Recover life, resetting my resolution. This is my moment, my evolution. I'm resetting my resolution.
Wow. All right. I don't know about the rest of y'all, but I'm excited.
I see the path on the way.
One step at a time. I'm going to get ready to get going because how many of us are ready to actually dive in? Ooh. Give it one more minute for some more people to come on in. Welcome, welcome. Yes. I'm reaching goals. This is my moment, my evolution. I'm resetting my resolutions. So I know for some of you all, you may not know that I sing, and I've been singing all of my life. My first name is Chantel, and guess what? It means a song or a stormy place. I challenge you all, find out what your name means, because guess what? There should be a story behind it. And when someone calls you by your name, they should actually speak something into you, but also pull something out of you. What are they pulling out? What are they putting in? Think about it. So I always like to open up just setting the atmosphere and making sure that we are all on one accord. We are all feeling ourselves. We're feeling good. We're feeling light. We're feeling like we are going to learn something. Get your notepad, your pen. And I need for you to understand, I do talk a little fast. The passion and the love that I have for what I do causes me to actually speed up. So if I start talking too fast, that's okay. Just put a 444 in the chat when you hear me talking too fast. I will slow down. Okay. Thank you. So, welcome everyone. This is Training for Life's Resetting Your Resolutions. I started doing this over a year ago now. And it was because I had made some resolutions at the beginning of the year, like we usually do, right? I understand that springtime is the beginning of the year. So, here we are. We were in springtime, and I had already abandoned, I only had 4 things on the list, but I had already abandoned 2 of them. Half of it was down, 50% was gone. And I was like, you know what? How many projects or things was I supposed to successfully complete before the summer came in that would have placed me or positioned me in a better place or situation so that I could better serve the people that I was called to serve, right? So if you've ever wondered about that or thought about that, just think about it. We're going to go ahead and just sort of set the atmosphere. So today we're going to be talking about emotionally exhausted women. They make expensive decisions. Did you know that? Healing the root behind burnout, stress, and self sabotage. We're going to go deep. I'm going to try not to get so deep because this is, again, my passion. And I have to remind myself that I can't give you all of the information. I just have to give you enough to know so that you know that I know exactly what I'm talking about, not because I read it, not because I heard it, but because I lived it. Still growing through the process, right? So I want to welcome everyone. Let's tell the truth today. Some of you are not lazy. Most of us aren't, right? Some of you, most of you are not unmotivated. It's a fact. Some of you are emotionally overloaded, hormonally depleted, spiritually exhausted, and mentally, guess what? You're overwhelmed. And how many of you know that these little things happen and we're going to keep moving? We're not going to stop, right? But guess what? More importantly, when you're feeling that overwhelm, you even begin operating in survival mode, right? And when you're in survival mode for so long, dysfunction starts feeling normal. How many of us know that feeling? I can throw 2 hands in the air for that one, okay? Because I've lived it, okay? And I battle with it. and I'm overcoming and I'm on the other side of it. Like I'm coming down the hill now. But just know that you're not alone. So you keep saying, I just need more discipline, right? Is it really that you need more discipline? Because when you think about it, you've accomplished a lot in your lifetime. If discipline was really the issue, would you have so many things under your belt, so many wins, so many successes, so many letters behind your name, in front of your name, so many certificates, so many accolades, right? But here's the thing. What if it's the real issue that exhaustion has set in? What if your nervous system is screaming for regulation while your mind keeps demanding performance? I had a talk with a sister friend of mine just last night, and she was saying she's recovering from a major surgery, uh, in a very delicate area of her body. Keep it clean, people, keep it clean. But how many of us know that we have been programmed to keep pushing ourselves, performing, showing up, all these things, even when we don't have it in us to do? And she said she even felt guilty for trying to lay down and take a nap when she's still deep in recovery from a major surgery. How many of us experienced that? Coffee mug, t-shirt, 3 kids to boot. Okay? But listen, today we're going to get to the root of this. We're going to break this down and we're going to go about it slow, step by step. And I'm going to try to not out talk myself and outthink myself. Okay. So I just want to set the atmosphere on the line. So, Heavenly Father, today we surrender the pressure, the overwhelmingness, the exhaustion, the hidden burdens that we have been carrying silently. Help us to heal emotionally, mentally, spiritually, physically, and even financially. Teach us how to stop abandoning ourselves while trying to serve everybody else. Restore clarity where there has been confusion. Restore peace where there has been exhaustion and anxiety. Mm. Restore discipline where there has been inconsistency. Restore energy where there has been burnout. Today, we choose healing over survival. And we do this in your name, Elohim, El Elyon. And it is so. So let's talk about this emotional exhaustion, because I promise you, it's costing you way more than you could ever imagine. It's expensive to be exhausted emotionally. In scripture, Matthew 11, verse 28 through 30, I'm reading out an amplified classic version because I want you to get the full depth of the verse, right? It says, "Come to me, all ye, all you who labor and are heavy laden and overburdened, and I will cause you to rest. For my yoke is wholesome, useful, good, not harsh, hard, sharp, or pressing, but it's comfortable, it's gracious, it's pleasant." Let's break this down. Yeshua never intended for women to live chronically overwhelmed. He never intended that for anyone, but especially women. But many of us today are emotionally drained. We're mentally overstimulated. We're hormonally exhausted, financially stressed, spiritually disconnected, physically inflamed. And when exhaustion becomes chronic, guess what? Expensive decisions follow. Think about it. Because exhausted people seek relief wherever they think they can find it. And how many of you know these little things right here, these little devices, they will send you information about stuff that you only thought about. If you looked up something just one time, just to make sure you spelt it right when you were writing it on your little journal, guess what? You're now getting flooded with ads about different things concerning it, right? Trust me, I know. So Let me tell you what that relief can look like in today's society, right? So let's talk about impulse spending, stress eating, oversleeping, isolation, alcohol, overworking, people pleasing, procrastination. Let me know when I hit one of those markers for you, right? Emotional shutdown. Mm. You all know that I'm a master social worker. So I'm going to always go to the DSM because that has given me answers and some clarity and understanding when nothing else was speaking to me mentally, right? So this is recognized through symptoms that are connected to like anxiety disorders, depression disorders, adjustment disorders, burnout related emotional deregulation or dysregulation, trauma responses. Yes. Did you know people can have PTSD simply because their hormones are out of balance? Right. Executive functioning impairment, meaning prefrontal cortex is not firing on all cylinders and you are thinking with your hypothalamus. And guess what? You are having emotional responses to things that you should actually take a few deep breaths, settle down before you make a decision. Symptoms often include brain fog, irritability, difficulty concentrating, sleep disturbances, loss of motivation, fatigue, emotional numbness, emotional impulsivity, difficulty making decisions. Can I tell you, I experienced that a couple of weeks ago for the first time in years, and I was like, what in the world is going on with me? Then I realized I had not had my green juice. So guess what I did? I took a step back, took a couple of breaths. I went and did some exercises that help your body settle into um, to counter cortisol, high cortisol, to counter the fight, flight, or freeze mode in our body and in our mind, right? And after I did that, I drank some of my green juice, right? And then I started feeling better. Then I could finish what I was actually trying to focus on and concentrate on, right? And make the decision that was best for me. And women blame ourselves. We blame ourselves for symptoms that the nervous system has been trying to survive. Simply survive. Can I tell you, you don't have to operate like that. And baby, your Amazon cart is not always a spending problem. It's not. Sometimes it's a nervous system problem. Your body is looking for dopamine. Remember, your soul may feel depleted. And you can't put that into words always. You can't express that always because sometimes we don't even understand how to scratch an itch that's in our soul. So the random late night spending sprees, maybe it's a temporary emotional regulation problem. The emotional eating, maybe it's temporary soothing. And I'm just going to tell you, my temporary soothing lately has been Pop Valley popcorn, just a plain butter popcorn with a little bit of sea salt. That's it. But it does hit the right spot at night when I can't sleep. And I'm sitting there and I'm tired of counting sheep. I'm tired of reciting my mantras and reciting my affirmations, however you want to call them. But it helps. It hits the spot, right? Then I drink some of my lemon, clove, watermelon juice water. And guess what? Within 30 minutes, the girl is asleep. It works. I'm not telling you to try it, but it works. That inability to stay consistent, that's a dysregulation of the nervous system, and it's struggling to feel safe. And no matter motivating conversations or motivating scriptures, none of that stuff can fix the body that's stuck in survival mode. None of it. Healing requires restoration, regulation, boundaries, healing the root, rebuilding the nervous system and learning that your body is not your enemy. It's not. But you got to look for things and understand what's going on, because guess what? When you don't know and you don't get it, oh, we don't know and we don't get it. So my dopamine hit now, I found these natural figs, and it's actual whole figs just smashed down and placed into some natural gluten-free little wrappings or coatings. And I got that for my dopamine hit for after me showing up today for you all, right? I have my fresh watermelon cubes. I have me some apple slices over here, some banana slices. And I found these Frederick's cranberry pistachio crackers. I don't know about nobody else, but that's my dopamine hit for showing up today. Okay. Remember, we reward ourselves. We celebrate during the process. It's not about getting to the finish line. It's about while I'm on the journey, I'm going to love and smell the roses. Right. Okay. So now let's talk about your nervous system dysregulation and survival mode. Let's talk about that. 2 Timothy 1:7 out of the Amplified Classic says this: For God did not give us the spirit of timidity, cowardice, craven, or cringing and fawning fear, but He has given us a spirit of power and of love and of calm and well balanced mind and discipline and self control. If you ever received an email from me, that scripture is on the bottom of that's my signature line. Because guess what? I have to remind myself daily, sometimes hourly, sometimes minutely, that I don't have a spirit of fear, that I have a sound mind, that I am loved. And guess what? It's okay sometimes when you don't hear it, when you don't see it, when you don't know it for yourself. It really is okay. When women think that they are falling apart, right? When in reality, your body has been carrying unresolved stress, trauma, burnout, pressure, grief, and survival patterns for years. And here you are thinking, I'm falling apart. I must be having a nervous breakdown. The world wants to label it as some of everything, but guess what? Truth of the matter is, your body's screaming, listen to me, help me. Industry studies in trauma recovery, neuroscience, hormone health, and stress psychology or sociology, it continues to show that emotional stress affects the body physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and hormonally. But here at T4L, we teach that emotional exhaustion often creates blockages within the body's neural and emotional regulation centers, which can impact how a woman thinks, how you feel, how you function, how you react, how you rest, and even how you heal. So let me break this down for you so you understand. A calm, well balanced mind matters spiritually and biologically. And if you don't understand that, listen, in women's health, even neuroscience, emotional regulation, and longevity, all of that consistently teaches that chronically stressed women, your body will physically begin to change, structurally begin to change, all because your nervous system is dysregulated. Did you know that? Long-term stress elevates your cortisol. At elevated cortisol levels, these are some of the effects that happen in your body. Okay. Hormones are thrown off. Weight, it goes up, goes down, fluctuate. It's all over the place. Estrogen balance is thrown off. Inflammation, sleep disruption, or the overwhelming desire to try to sleep as much as possible. Insulin sensitivity, memory, whether it's loss or gaps, focus. You struggle in focusing. Your metabolism, it either increases or decreases drastically. Digestion is inhibited. Your mood swings, right? Energy production is reduced. Sometimes you have spikes and then hard falls. Decision making, joint health, cardiovascular health. Did you know that just because your nervous system is dysregulated, that your cholesterol level will register as extra high? I need for you to understand that you literally have a system that is completely connected. It all works together. And if you don't regulate one part, if you miss one little part, it can throw everything off. So a dysregulated nervous system often creates that fight, flight, freeze, or fawn mode. If you're in flight mode, these are some of the symptoms you may experience: irritability, snapping on people, hyper independence. I got this. I don't need nobody else. Over controlling and anger. If you're in flight mode, avoidance, procrastination, overworking, busyness without productivity. How many of us have sat at this computer for hours and hours, and then at the end of the day, we're like, I got nothing done? Escapism. We won't even talk about how many YouTube videos we watch that had nothing to do with what we were supposed to be doing, right? Okay. Freeze mode, exhaustion, shutdown, feeling sick, brain fog, and emotional numbness. I know you're like, what? Yes, freeze. Fawn mode. Some of you may not even heard of this one. This is where you go into people pleasing, lack of boundaries. You're not even protecting you. Self-abandonment, fear of disappointing others. And many women are functioning literally from that fear of disappointing others. We're functioning in a survival mode. We are literally functioning in survival mode while calling it being strong. Sweetheart, you weren't made to be that strong, because being that strong is detrimental to your health in every aspect of it: physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, and even financial. Okay, so let's talk about some ways that you can start regulating these things, right? I always love to tell you about some somatic stretches or exercises for survival mode. That'll help you. Grounding reset practices. Grounding is important. Now that it's spring, the ground may be warm enough where, depending on where you are. Here in Michigan, it's not quite there. You know, we fluctuate, but at night we drop pretty cool. So it's not warm enough for me to go out barefooted and stand in the grass. However, I do have grounding mats around my house, so I will stand on them during the day. I have a grounding mat on my bed, so at night I'm grounding. The entire time I'm in bed at night, I'm grounding. But you can place both feet flat on the floor, right? Relax your shoulders. I tell people, do a shoulder roll or two, going back, do it going forward, and leave them down, making sure that the shoulders are down, right? Unclench your jaw. Open it wide, right? Take a slow inhale, and we always like to inhale in our nose to the count of 4, hold it at the top to the count of 4, and then breathe slowly out your mouth to the count of 6. Let's try it one time. Here we go. Holding it, breathing out your mouth. Repeat that for me like 3 or 4 times. Come on. Keep going. And while you're doing this, I want you to ask yourself this: what does my body need right now to feel safe? Not productive, not useful, not needed by everyone else around you, but just to feel safe. Because healing begins when the nervous system is no longer believing that it is under attack. symptoms that women ignore when they are emotionally stimulated or overstimulated. Mood swings, irritability. I keep telling you these because I need for you to write them down. I need for you to literally self-examine yourself. Anxiety, pit of your stomach feeling, right? Hopelessness, emotional numbness, feeling detached, right? The physical symptoms can look like weight gain, inflammation, hair thinning, digestive issues, heartburn, indigestion, burping a lot, feeling like you have to burp yourself, all those things, right? Fatigue, headaches. Might not always be the pollen, right? If it's pollen and it's your sinuses, you can make a figure 8 with your head like 3 times. And then when you stop, if you still feel woozy, then that's when you know it's sinus. But if that headache is still there, guess what? That's not sinus. And if it didn't move and feel like it's doing all this with you, that's not sinus. Hormonal imbalance and sleep issues. Cognitive symptoms look like forgetfulness. Got where you put your phone. I'm not going to tell you how many times I have walked around this house looking for my doggone phone. I had the Bluetooth in my ear, but I couldn't find the phone. Losing your keys. Brain fog, that difficulty concentrating. Ooh, that's a good one, right? Indecisiveness and mental exhaustion. Financial symptoms look like this: impulse spending. I told you all, when you see something that you really, really think like, oh my goodness, that's amazing, I need that. Wait 24 hours. After 24 hours, transfer either the amount of that product into your savings or at least $5 into your savings and wait another 24 hours. If after 48 hours you're still thinking about, I want that product, do some research on it and see if you have anything in your house that can give you the same results that you're not already using. And then wait another 24 hours. Now we're at 72 hours. If you still feel like I need this, that's when I call my fiduciary responsible friends. And then I have that conversation, the real conversation. Do I really need this? If the consensus is that might be beneficial, okay, I'll make that investment. But the catch is this: the moment it arrives at my house, I start a calendar. If in 30 days I have not used it a majority of those 30 days, guess what? I will see if I can sell it to someone else. Why? Because I'm not going to have it like, that treadmill that's sitting in your bedroom or your workout room that's used as a clothes hanger. I'm not going to have something that's not serving me sitting up in my house taking up space. Good habit to have. That's all I'm saying. So let's talk about some herbs and natural support that you can use, right? Because the body needs support too. So for stress and nervous system support, one of my favorites, ashwagandha. You hear so much about it in media and all that, but it supports the cortisol regulations and stress responses. It lowers those levels in your body. And ashwagandha, you want to use it. Like I said, I wasn't going to go deep. I promise you. I said I wasn't going to go deep. So I'm just going to say ashwagandha, okay? Lemon balm, one of my favorite. I keep it in my morning tea when I put my cayenne pepper and my hibiscus, right? The cayenne pepper, if you're wondering, cayenne pepper in my morning tea is for circulation and heart health. But chamomile, that's the tea I use at night when I mix my magnesium with it and I, am feeling a little restless. I may put a little ashwagandha in that too, right? Just to make sure. So lemon balm supports calmness and nervous system regulation. Chamomile helps reduce anxiety and improves sleep quality. Magnesium glycinate Magnesium glycinate, I'm saying it twice for a reason, supports relaxation, muscle recovery, especially when you're working out, and nervous system support. That is a vital one to have in your arsenal, right? And for brain fog and mental clarity, one of my favorite, ginkgo biloba. It supports circulation and cognitive clarity. Lion's mane. I love anything mushroom, but lion's mane, oh baby, you have a special place in my heart. It supports memory and cognitive functions. So I cook it, I drink it, because I have the power for them too. I eat them. Listen, we try to make sure we get our lion's manes in every single day. Beautiful. And of course, one of our all-time favorite, you want to know why the mothers at the old churches used to have a pocket full of peppermints for the kids? Because it helps mental alertness and digestion. Because you would have come in from eating breakfast at church, rushing to get there on time, or eating in the car, right? Give you some peppermint. It's also soothing. It also calms you. Mm-hmm. So for hormonal balance and inflammation, one of my all-time favorites, and I told one of my spiritual sons about this because he didn't believe me, but maca root, M-A-C-A, maca root. It supports hormonal energy and stamina. And if you're married, get some maca root and slip it in something for your husband. You'll love him more and he'll thank you later. Red raspberry leaf. This supports women productive wellness. Mm-hmm. That, along with okra water, should be your best friends. And that's to have something early in the morning. I take my okra water with my morning tea. And guess what? We don't have all those other issues that we have, that other women have, right? Turmeric and ginger mixed together. And I always, if I'm going to do turmeric, I'm going to add some black pepper and a dash of cayenne. Okay? Just a dash of black pepper and a dash of cayenne. Always with turmeric. But added with ginger, it supports inflammation reduction. And adding black pepper with turmeric literally multiplies its effectiveness for anti-inflammation by over 200%. You do the math. Okay? Sea moss, it supports minerals and thyroid support. Also, one other little trick that I always do, at least 2 to 3 times a day, I have some Himalayan sea salt or Celtic salt in just some plain spring water in a mason jar, 30 ounce mason jar. And it's enough salt in there that you can actually see salt sitting on the bottom of the jar. I take a ceramic spoon, stir it around, make a little salt tornado, and then I take a big spoon of that. I take a spoon in the morning, I take one in the afternoon, and I take one at night. Why? Because all of the water that I drink, I don't want to rinse away all of my trace minerals and nutrients that my body needs, right? Right. Okay, so now let's talk about somatic healing and emotional regulation. So, a calm and undisturbed mind and heart are the life and health of the body. So, let's break this down. The body stores stress. This is why we feel tension in your shoulders, in your jawline, in your stomach, in your hips, in your chest, right? Think about that. Somatic healing teaches your body how to release those stored physical responses. So, trauma recovery consistently emphasizes breath work. So that inhale in your nose to the count of 4, hold it at the top to the count of 4, exhale out of your mouth to the count of 6, hold it for 4, and then breathe it again. Breath work. Or you can do movement. One of the things I used to love about Grey's Anatomy was when they would have a stressful day or something super, super emotional for them that they had to deal with, they would be like dance party and they would dance it out, turn on some music and just jump and dance. Why? Movement therapy. It will literally release some of that stress in your body. Movement, open, open up the chest area, over the head, right? Think about all these things. Doing stretches. It's a benefit to the body, but it also helps. You can do pelvic circles, pelvic tilts to release hip tension. You can do a full squat all the way down, keeping your feet flat on the floor as low as you can possibly go comfortably. And if you can hold that there for 3 minutes and come back up without holding on to anything to help you, guess what? You can increase your lifespan, open up your hip flexors, release that stored tension in your spinal cord, help restabilize your spinal cord. It will actually make whatever core exercises you're doing more effective. You'll also have better bowel movements. Think about that. Do that first thing in the morning. And if you learn how to rock as far as you can to either side while you're in that position, that's even better. Especially if you can extend one leg out to the side and rock all the way to the other side, almost like a lunge, but you staying down in that very, very exaggerated squatted position. That will also increase your life. So some other things you can do, increase your protein intake. As we age women, we have to increase our protein. Now, I'm not a meat eater, so I increase my lentils. I increase my greens. I increase my, I put flax seeds, chia seeds, milled flax seeds, though, the ones that's already mashed up, because if you eat a whole flax seed, it's going to come out whole. Okay, but you get the crushed ones, it will actually absorb in your body. It'll do some beautiful things. It also help whatever binder you're taking when you're detoxing to pull out toxins in the body, right? Strength training, get you some weights. You need to have weights heavy enough that if you do 8 reps with that one weight, that you are out of breath and you're like, okay, that's my limit. Or struggle to do those last 2 to get the 10. I always tell people you want to do 2 more after you think you've reached your limit. Just 2 more, just 2 more, right? Sunlight, get out in the morning sun, at least 15 to 30 minutes. When the sun is heading to the sky, get out there and just let it hit your body, your face, your skin. Look at the sun. There's a thing called sun gazing. It will actually start healing your eyes, the morning sun. I know they tell you don't look at it, but guess what? They also tell you to take some pills that you're finding out are killing you. Right. So I'm going to come off my soapbox and I'm going to climb down real slow so I don't trip. Right. Hydration. I promise you, I get way more liquids from my fruits and vegetables than I drink, because I used to drink 2 of these. Now I'm down to drinking 1 of these. But guess what? I'm more hydrated now than I was when I was drinking 2 of these, plus my morning tea, plus my okra water. You do the math. Right. Nervous system regulations. You can do some walking. You can literally walk for 30 minutes. But guess what? If you take the first 5 minutes of your walk and you purposely walk slower and put your foot heel, middle of your foot, all the way down to your toe and come up on your toes and push off so the next foot. If you do that for 5 minutes, when you first start walking, guess what happens? You will begin to regulate your nervous system. You'll begin to cause your brain to actually activate and start firing while you're walking. Another trick I learned: if you can stand on one foot for 1 minute, and I like to do gentle movements when I'm doing it. I move my arms in and out, in front of me and back in. I'll take my leg and I'll push it, put it forward, put it back, standing on one leg, out to the side and come back and do the other side for 1 minute. Do you understand that you will get your brain firing and fired up for the day? Do that first thing in the morning. Why? Because it's helping your body to regulate and understand, I am safe. Healing is not just spiritual. Healing is biological too. And so you want to start incorporating things that you will learn and you can find out that will help you in all areas of your physical, mental, emotional, spiritual healing. Okay? So let's talk about some regulation exercises. You can place one hand over your chest, one hand on your stomach, and breathe slowly. And I'm talking about deep belly breaths, not chest rising, Stomach going out. In your nose to the count of 4. Hold it at the top. Out your mouth. Hold that for 4 seconds and then inhale through your nose again. Hold it at the top to the count of 4. And when you breathe out your mouth this time, say, I am safe. Keep breathing. When you breathe out this time, say, I do not have to stay in survival mode. Breathing again. Holding at the top to the count of 4. Breathing out, I release overwhelm. See where I'm going with this? Every time you release, say something. I release self-abandonment. I release self-sabotage. I deserve healing too. Speak to yourself. Relax your shoulders. Unclench your jaw. Relax your stomach. If it's bigger than what you want it to be, guess what? Okay. And we'll do some more leg raises this week. We'll do some more bicycles this week. We'll do some more bridges this week. But guess what? For right now, we're going to release the tension in our stomach, right? And we're going to love the skin and the body that we're in, right? So now let's talk about it, because if you think about it, some women have been bracing for survival so long that they forget what peace even feels like, that they can experience peace, that they can exhale. So emotional spending and self-sabotage. Scripture for it, Luke 14, verse 28. Oh, you don't always have me a scripture. Amplified Classic Version says this: for which of you, wishing to build a farm building or build a house, does not first sit down and calculate the cost? Think about it. Count the cost before you spend. That's why I told you, give yourself 72 hours. Try it. You'll be amazed at how it works. So healing women calculate differently, right? Emotionally exhausted women often spend emotionally because spending temporarily creates dopamine and emotional escape. I know some people now who are in financial debt because of emotional spending, and they knew better and they just couldn't help themselves, right? But emotional spending creates debt, guilt, financial stress, shame cycles, often that overwhelmed feeling. The issue is not always money. It's not. The issue is emotional depletion. You've shown up for everybody else but yourself. I keep telling you, imagine yourself as this beautiful china cup with the matching plate under the bottom. Fill up your cup to overflowing. Everything that falls into the saucer up under your cup, you are more than welcome to pour out all of that, everything to the last drop. Don't you dare tip your cup for anything, any reason, or anybody. So you'll never be empty again. You stay full. And when you feel that you don't have any more overflowing, guess what? You retreat so that you can get full to the overflowing again before you try to worry about pouring out anything else. We don't tip our cup anymore. We only tip our saucer. Is that an agreement we can make? Can I get a 4 in the chat? Perfect. Thank you, ladies. I appreciate it. So now, here's the thing. Self-sabotage often comes from fear of failure, low self-worth, nervous system dysregulation, trauma conditioning, and learned helplessness. Can I tell you that the connection that's been made here is many of the patterns of trauma responses anxiety patterns, depressive symptoms, and maladaptive coping behaviors are diagnosed in the DSM, which is the book that the social workers use, psychologists use when they're working with their clients. It's all connected. It's all connected. What is it connected to? Your emotional self-sabotaging, your emotional dysregulation. So let's talk about some reset strategies. Romans 12:2. Be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. Be transformed and changed by the entire renewal of your mind. That's Amplified Classic. So let's talk about it. Strategy number 1. How do I renew my mind? Regulate before you react. So pause before you spin. Remember that 72 hours? Pause. Pause before emotional eating. Guess what I do? If I feel like I want to snack on something, I'm going to grab some green juice. I'm going to grab my water. I'm going to drink. I'm going to drink at least 8 ounces. If I still feel like I want to eat something, then I may actually be hungry at that point. Pause before saying yes. Pausing is for you to make sure that you are not tipping your cup, but you're only tipping your saucer, right? Strategy number 2, create safety daily. So sleep matters. Make sure you're getting at least 6 to 9 hours of sleep. I know some people are like, that is just way too much sleep. It's really not. For a person like me who borders on being just a little bit hyper, just a little bit. Okay, fine, just a little bit. 4 to 5 hours for me, and I'm ready to go again. So for me, I try to make sure I get at least 6 hours of sleep now that I'm in menopause, or post-menopause rather. So for you, if you're one of those people who had to have 8 hours of sleep, look at 9. Make sure the room is dark. Turn off all lights. Protein matters. Get your protein in. You want to have at least 75 grams of protein every single day, women. At least. That's the least. That's the low end of the scale. You want to go up to at least 120. Water matters. Hydration matters. I like getting my hydration from my melons, from my fruit. So I always try to have some type of melon every single day. I try to always have at least 1 to 2 green apples a day. I eat on celery and cucumbers every day. I try to make sure that I'm having some greens every day. I eat a lot of okra and I drink okra water. Hydration. Right. That's on top of what I'm drinking. That's on top of my cup of tea. That's on top of my, green drink. Right. Too much access to draining people. Set some boundaries for yourself. It's for your safety and theirs. Set some boundaries. Too much noise. We've got to have some quiet time. First thing in the morning, I had to tell my husband and help him understand, when I first wake up, I love you and I'm gonna need some quiet. I'm gonna need when I wake up, I need my meditation time. Please let that time be sacred. So if that means I need to go into the other room and close the door behind me, because if I close the door behind me, then he knows, okay, this is her private time. So while I'm doing that, I'm doing my standing on my 1 foot. I'm opening the window wide and I'm staring at the sun and letting the sun hit my body. Do all of those things so that I can make sure that I'm resetting and calming myself, right? Your nervous system needs quiet too. Doesn't always have to be music, a television, the computer, your phone. When you first wake up, give yourself 30 minutes to an hour before you touch the phone. Use that time to say your morning affirmations to yourself. Look yourself in the mirror and say, I love you. I love you. You need to tell yourself at least 10 times every day, looking yourself eye to eye, I love you. I believe in you. I trust you. We matter, right? Okay, let's talk about creating that safety daily. That's that the sunlight, the movement. That's your prayer matters. Okay, overstimulating yourself. Number 3, overstimulating yourself. Too much scrolling. Too much bad news. I don't watch news. So when people talk to me about stuff that's going on, I'm like, oh, okay, that's going on. That's great. Because guess what? I live in a theocracy. I'm operating from a whole nother system. Too much access to draining people can drain you. Too much noise. So again, going back to the one before this, that movement matters, that prayer time matters, that quiet time matters, right? All of it is connected. You see how it's connecting? Number 4, rebuild discipline slowly. Please do not try to badger yourself into discipline. Pick one thing. Do it consistently for 61 days. If you want to really do it for 90 days straight. But on the 61st day, something happens and it clicks in our brain and it's like it starts becoming second nature. You know how you can drive to work every single day and now after a while you get there and you pulling in your parking spot and you're like, I don't even remember to drive here. And you're thinking, did I stop at that stop sign that always is crowded? Did I stop? Did I run into red lights? I don't even remember the drive here at all. Second nature. That's what you want it to become, right? Consistency heals chaos. So wake up, do your 15, 20 minutes of meditation. Have your notepad nearby. Whatever comes into your mind, jot it down on a notepad. Why? So that you can go back to being silent and focused. Clear out the brain clutter. But stay in the moment. And when you feel like you've done all you can do, sit there for at least another 60 seconds, even if that means you got to count down from 60. Right? Small daily wins rebuilds trust within yourself. If you tell yourself, I'm going to do something, can you trust you to do it? Are you dependable to you? That's vital. And so, number 5, healing the root. Stop only treating symptoms, please. You got to start dealing with the root. So ask yourself, why am I overwhelmed? Ask yourself, why do I avoid doing X, Y, and Z? Why do I emotionally spend? Why do I abandon myself? Why do I procrastinate? Healing begins with awareness. Are you aware of what you're doing to you and why you're doing it? So now let's talk about some things. I always like to make sure that when we're coming to a close that I empower you, right? So women, I need for you to understand, you have to have whatever spiritual walk or whatever that you have. However that looks for you, you do you, right? But I want you to know this, you're not broken. You're not overwhelmed. You're not failing. You're not exhausted in the sense of physically being exhausted. But guess what? You are emotionally exhausted. You are mentally exhausted. You are spiritually exhausted. And exhaustion untreated will eventually affect your body, your mind, your emotions, your finances, and even your purpose. But healing changes everything. A healed woman thinks differently, moves differently, chooses differently, builds differently, loves differently, leads differently. And that healing starts today. So let's do an activation prayer. I want you to just repeat after me, right? You start your prayer how you start yours. I always start mine with Heavenly Father, today I release emotional exhaustion, overwhelming feelings, burnout, and self sabotage. I break agreement with survival mode. Mm. I declare that my mind is being renewed. My nervous system is stabilizing. My body is healing. My emotions are regulating. My discipline is returning. My peace is returning. I will no longer abandon myself while trying to save everyone else. Ah, I choose healing. I choose wisdom. I choose alignment. Come on. I choose intentional living. Do you feel it? I declare that I am rebuilding emotionally, spiritually, physically, and financially. In Yeshua's name, amen. Do you feel that? And as I'm closing out this teaching, I just want to remind you of this. Healed women heal families. Healed women heal businesses. Healed women heal communities. Healed women break generational curses. And emotionally healed women stop making expensive survival decisions. Healed women are strong enough to say, whatever ran through my family stops at me, and you will run out now. So I encourage you, keep training for life. I love you all to life. And let's ensure this. If any of this touched you, if it brought to mind that there's some things that I need to work on, feel free to reach out to me. You can follow me on social media. You can find me on the internet. You can find me everywhere. And I will post the link for my website. We can work together so that you can restore your joy and your peace because you deserve it. Go forth and have a blessed and prosperous